Good morning, excellent morning, fantastic afternoon, an amazing evening. This is Carla from MindPlore with Carla and Friends, and I am excited because one, I have someone I haven't seen for a long time here on the show, Kamran Khan. In fact, he was one of my first people on this show. And he claims he's been working. I don't know about that for sure, but I got him here today. I also have Kamran Rizvi. I have Shivali here. And I have Asma, who has been having all kinds of problems with internet, but she's here too. So I am so thrilled. We are going to have to tape this because Zoom is not working well with broadcasting live right now. Having said that, the topic today is getting out of your comfort zone. I don't remember the complete topic as I originally put it. But the whole point is that we get stuck in a comfort zone. We think we can do this and we think we could do that, or we want to do this and we want to do that. And we say, I've never done it before. I can't do it. Well, when I started working with Rehan, I never thought I would go live with anyone. And I do the English show now. I took a step out of my comfort zone. MindPlore came with a discussion with, I think Kamran was included in it, or we started MindPlore after Kamran began. And again, I took a step out of my comfort zone. It's not an easy thing to do. But if we stay in the past and we worry, oh, I had a bad time with that and it never worked. Or if we stay in the future worrying, what happens if I say something wrong? They're all going to laugh at me. We get stuck in that and we never do anything. But when we're in the present and we get the idea that we should do something and move forward, then everything begins to move. Everything begins to get out of our comfort zone and we're doing something new. Stop saying I cannot and start saying I will do. Anyway, I am so excited to have Kamran Khan here. So I'd like you to kick it off, Kamran.
Thank you, Carla, and thank you for letting me into this show. And I've been absent for a long time. And yes, we started together. We did a lot of wonderful shows, and Leifert Vincent, myself, a few others. What is a comfort zone to start with? Everybody, and I mean everybody, loves to be comfortable, loves to be relaxed, and loves to do what he or she is best in doing. And when you have been doing a thing for a while, you start doing it out of your subconscious mind habitually, just like driving a car. You're driving a car, and well, if you're a new driver, you'll be hooked up, you'll be watching the gear, the clutch, and everything. But then with due course of time, with your practice and everything, you're just driving it, and actually you don't know then you're driving it, and you're talking to others, you're talking on the phone, which is, by the way, not allowed. But I mean, you're just doing it automatically. So when things become automatic for you, for anybody, that's what we call the comfort zone. Um, my perspective on this talk will be from a global angle, and I would like to touch upon during the due course of discussion. I'd like to touch upon what's happening globally, and there have been many nations across the globe who have been living into their comfort zones for quite some time, and now things have started, sort of with the advent of COVID, and now with the advent of with the reincarnation of Putin. This would be my angle if I'm allowed to, because we have talked when we talk philosophically on things, people well, there are very few people with that sort of background or intellectual capacity which who can relate philosophy to their lives, but relating events or happenings or situations to one's life is easier. And since I guess your show is for the general audience and not for nerds and philosophers, I think I think that will be my take on it. So, uh, comfort zone is something which everybody loves, but it is something where you cannot excel inside a comfort zone, inside a boundary. One is supposed to be dormant and ultimately dead. So yes, we need to get out of our comfort zones, not individually, but as nations, as societies, and now increasingly at a global level. So that will be my 2 cents on it to start with.
Now, when you're saying getting out of this, I want to clarify, I want some clarification from you. We are all stuck in, I have done this and I know I can do this, but can I really talk live? I spoke to a woman today who I know can speak English, and she said, oh no, I can't go live with you. I don't know how to do it. And I told her, your English is perfect. You have no reason to be worried. How do you have any, excuse me, any tips on how to help people move from what they think they cannot do to where they can say, oh, I can do this, or at least I'll put in the effort? Kamran.
You're again asking me. I don't know. Tips are very, sort of individualistic. So people have their way of doing things. So I don't believe on tips actually, because there are things which I can do perfectly, which you can't, which anybody can't. And then there's the other way around. People can do some things very comfortably, which I won't. So I think why don't we sort of add others to the discussion so that a new flavor is added. I am usually very boring.
I hate it when you say that, because that says you're in your comfort zone. Asma, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I want to say, yes, Kamran sir was right. Comfort is somehow, it's very important. And it's like you love comfort. Whatever we do in our life, that is honestly for the comfort. But somehow comfort, if you want to develop, if you want to upgrade yourself, there you have to leave the comfort. Like some people live in the villages, but they want to become a successful, there the opportunities are in the city, but their comfort is in the village. They have to leave the village and move towards the city to grab the opportunities. So I believe that right now, that it depends on the person. It depends on you, what you wanna in your life. If you're happy with your life and if you want the comfort, some people are happy even in a single room. They love what they are doing. They don't believe in big dreams. They don't want to grab that big opportunities. They are just happy whatever they are doing. They are okay. Now I feel that they are okay. If they are happy, if they are satisfied with that, that's fine. But on the other hand, if I have big dreams, I want to achieve something. I want to grab the opportunities which I right now feel that I'm not capable to achieve them. Then there I have to leave my comfort zone, because I many times I told that I was the kid who can't speak. I was the kid who can't share her point of view. But insidely, I always wanted to discuss the thing. Insidely, I always want to speak. I always want to share my ideas. So there, I have the fear of judging. I have fear people would judge me if I made mistakes. I had to come out of my comfort zone. I have to deal with the fear. I had to deal with a lot of stuff. I had to deal with the judgment. And then I was able to speak. Even till nowadays, sometimes I like while speaking, my sentence break, but I want to. So that's my there I break my comfort zone. There I am breaking my comfort zone. So I just believe that humans always want to upgrade themselves. Human societies, we always want to upgrade. So there, if we want to upgrade, if we want to update the things, we need to become out of the comfort zone. We need to leave the things to move on, to get the new opportunities, to get new things. So yes, there we always leave our comfort zone and take the new things.
Thank you. Guys, remember, this is a conversation. I don't need to call on you, but I'm going to ask Kamran Rizvi what he thinks, and let's make it more of a conversation. Hi.
Thank you, Carla. And I fully concur with what our friend Kamran Khan has mentioned, and also Asma. And as I was listening, other thoughts were coming to my mind that what do we as people really want in life? And this varies significantly. Broadly speaking, what I've come to the conclusion so far is that fulfillment, inner peace, is what we all, I suppose, want to have or enjoy. Now, this want to have or enjoy is the area of comfort zone as well. And inner peace and fulfillment usually is experienced when our conscience is alive. Our conscience is the window to our soul. I mean, it's the voice of our soul. It's the inner self talking to us. And if it is disturbed, if our conscience is disturbed, it means that to stay in that state would not be fair, either to myself or to those who are in my circle of influence or who I'm responsible for. So if my conscience is at peace and I'm leading a life which is giving me not only health, respect, and happiness, but it's also allowing me to make a difference on a scale that is something that I want to, and not being part of the rat race, I think that comfort is good to have, and one is very fortunate to be in that. And I would not want anyone listening to embark on something out of fashion, because I do know that people do skydiving and bungee jumping in order to expand their capacity, and they want to pursue some ambitious goals, not necessarily because that's what they really want to do, but maybe it is also driven by keeping up with the Joneses. And in a rat race, whether you win or lose, you remain a rat. So I feel that it's a very important point. Before you even think of stepping out of the comfort zone, ask yourself, why am I wanting to do it? How do I intend to do it? What is it that I should be doing in order to live my purpose? So I was going through some literature on comfort zone because I'm glad that you always share the topic. And I came across a set of definitions, which was that comfort zone is where we feel safe and in control, something our friends have said. When we step out of it, we are immediately confronted by fear. And fear is when we start finding excuses. We are affected by others' opinions. We suffer from a lack of confidence. And when we confront these demons and move out of the fear zone, we enter the learning zone, which is when we are extending our comfort zone to a level where we are able to deal with challenges, where we want to acquire new skills. And it's all driven by having found a purpose, a vision, a dream. If you go backwards, I think the tension that is caused within is, what is my aspiration and where do I find myself? If I'm living my aspiration, then I think, please stay where you are and cruise. But if your aspiration is X and you are feeling Y and there's a distance, then, as Asma said, please step out of your comfort zone, confront your fears, get into the learning zone and do whatever you need to in order to accomplish the dream that you have. So there are two parts to it. And I think sometimes when we're making choices, ethics come into it as well. I feel very uncomfortable in situations where my personal ethics are in question. And I think I'm happy and proud that I remain in my comfort zone and I don't dare to step into the red zone or cross the red line. But then when there are decisions which are good for others and for myself, and they're ethically sound, but require bravery on my part, and selfishness also keeps me in my comfort. So there are lots of dimensions to it. So comfort zone ain't so bad. And equally, it's your enemy. It depends on what the goals are, what the dream is, and then making those ethical choices and doing what you believe to be right in order to attain that state of inner peace and fulfillment.
Okay.
It was actually very enlightening. Thank you.
Sir, most welcome.
Always very enlightening, all of you. Shivali, do you want to answer the question?
I was listening to all of you and so many thoughts were coming. See, comfort zone, two things, individual and at the, say, the universal level. And what Kamran Khan ji said about, taking the world scenario, I feel that remaining too much in the comfort zone leads to a lot of injustice also, both for oneself and both for the people around. Why can't we voice what is right? Why can't we voice that which is just? You know why? Because again, that fear comes in, or someone tells us, don't do this. What's the need? I've been told so many times, Shivali, don't open your mouth. Just keep quiet about it. Forget it. Ignore it. I said, but okay. I start feeling guilty at times. So much of injustice takes place in the world because of this. Because we are happy to be with ourselves. And what Kamran Rizvi also said, I could connect with that. That what should I say? It's a double-edged sword, actually. Sometimes it is essential to keep your peace and the peace around you. But at the same time, when we look at things which are happening around us, say if I have to raise my voice for the sake of others, not for myself, for the sake of others, it requires courage. It requires a deep sense of responsibility also. If you're talking about individual purpose of life, say, I want to achieve something, as Kamranji just now said, I want to achieve something. And in order to evolve myself, as Asma also pointed out, to transform, to upgrade myself as a human being, I need to work on myself. And there I need to step out of my comfort zone. And if I look at the world around me, if I want to help someone, it could be in my family, in my society, someone who's weaker than me, and I'm raising a voice for that person. And there could be people around me who totally disagree with me or they don't like it. I think it should not matter to me. I should step out of my comfort zone that time and speak up, because not raising your voice also leads to, what should I say, more injustice. And it's not just about individual dreams. As a human being, I have a responsibility to the world around me also. I have to play that role. Otherwise, then we are all living in our own worlds. We can live with our own philosophies. I think that is being too self centered. Of course, the self is important, but not to the extent that you ignore what is happening around you. Then it's like ignorance is bliss, you know. So, a lot of things were coming to my mind.
Can we move back to a point that I was beginning with? I love the talk about comfort zone because we need to define it. But also, when we're talking about things like this, we need to be in the moment. What keeps us in our comfort zone are two things. One, worry that I made a mistake. No, the future is worry about making a mistake or not being successful. The past is, oh, I made that mistake in the past. It's not going to work now. But if we stay in just now, is there really a comfort zone, or are we moving with the flow of life? Kamran Khan, I'm picking on you because I don't see you often enough.
Well, this is a wonderful discussion, and all of our three esteemed participants, beautiful angles. What Kamran Rizvi Saab mentioned, it's a very beautiful definition that when you are safe and you think you are in control, you are in your comfort zone. And then very aptly pointed out by Shivali ma'am that if you don't speak, uh, well, that's major injustice. When I see things around me happening, and around me is global now. You're not confined to your home or to your, even to your country, I will say. It's all global. Whatever happens 5,000 miles away instantly affects you, and it affects you in all the ways, emotional, psychological, material. A policy in Washington changes, and like third world countries get affected immediately, and so on and so forth. So I've been thinking a lot for not only actually on the comfort zone, but uh, after the Renaissance, and it has been like 250 years now till to date, uh, nations have been in their comfort zone. The first world countries, so to say, uh, I always feel very, I don't know what very, I see, I've seen clips, all of us have seen clips that a dog, stranded in a car and people are rushing out in the first world to help the dog. A cat stuck on a tree, and people are they are so excited that we are saving it, and it's actually a Fox News bulletin. I'm very sorry to say the same nations, I'm not talking about people now. There is a difference between people and nations. People across the globe generally are good. Humans potentially have been bestowed with the goodness of things. But when we talk of nations, and by nations I mean politicians, bureaucracy, military, all of the stuff which actually carves a nation. These people, uh, they keep their people into imagining that, oh, whatever is being done at their level is excellent. Now I wonder, I've always wondered, and perhaps this conversation has given me an opportunity to speak. And I'm not going to be spiritual scientist in this show, at least, because that will be too philosophical. I'm just speaking plain language. And that plain thing says that when I care too much about the cat and the dog and I forget about the humans, then a human being or someone in the structure of a human being comes out and he says, I'm going to nuke you because you have been too insensitive. And you know I don't know, but you should keep a topic someday and I'll join. Is World War III coming? I'm not a warmonger, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but the point is that there are realities of life which do not which we should not, and now actually we cannot ignore. uh, the entire West, especially the Europe, the USA, they've been living into their comfort zone, into their sort talk of dreams, into their talk of saving a cat, and at the same time bombing Iraq and Libya and Iran and whatever came into their hand right from uh, the early days, from World War II onwards. And now these nations, I'm sorry to say, and I'm not happy in proclaiming this, but there is a system. There is a system of things. Those who believe in God, they say that there is a system by God. Those who don't believe in God, then I will say for them, it's a cosmic structure. What comes around goes around. So there have a lot been coming around from these nations for quite some time. And now it's time for a rebuttal. And now it's time that uh, it has started from COVID. Now it is a deep economic crisis. It is going to be a depression, and it is evident. $1 for an egg in the US, $4 for 1 liter of petrol. It's going to be $6 after 2 months. So you are forced. You will now be. By you I mean humanity. Humanity will now be forced out of its comfort zone because we have been indifferent. We have been indifferent to people. Yes, Carla, I'm sorry.
I want to go back to the present moment.
Why do you want to go back to the present? This is the present moment. I'm defining the present moment. Why do you want to stay on a question which is too philosophical? And why don't we want to talk on things?
Okay,
This is one of the reason I've started missing out many of the conversations, not only on your show, but at many forums, because I was too philosophical, too spiritual. But then I came to know that there are people who uh, who don't understand all of that stuff, their misery, their their the injustice which they are suffering, especially in the third world countries like Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, and I can name many. And I also call India a third world country because third world is a mental state, not because you are nuclearly armed. Pakistan is a third world country, however nuclearly armed they might be. These nukes are not going to save you. They're going to destroy you. What's going to save you is a definition of what is right and what is wrong from a humanitarian perspective, not from a religious perspective. Religions religion is something which we have totally ignored, and now it is time for religions and for the divine to ignore us as humans. We talk of comfort zone. We are sitting, five of us people are sitting here in our comfort zones, and we are sort of discussing things, but we do not actually know the misery outside our houses. I don't know. I'm just talking like this. Perhaps I know and everybody knows. But the point is that in general, we have been pushed into a illusion of those comfort zones. There is no comfort. If you start opening your eyes, nobody can remain in his or her comfort zone, because there is so much misery, so much pain, so much agony, so much frustration, so much poverty, so much depression, so much injustice going around, that if one is in his comfort zone, he is naive, he's blind, he's deaf. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'll stop.
I don't think you need to be sorry. I think what you're saying is what you feel is happening in the world. And that's fine. No problem. Kamran Rizvi, hello.
Yes, I'm here. And I was feasting on all the raw truths coming out from, Kamran Khan, and indeed Shivali gave a wake-up call also that, if if your neighbor is in trouble, or if someone is weak, and if you don't stand up and do something, then that comfort is actually being very selfish and apathetic. I mean, apathy is I don't care. And apathy is, in fact, a word that just came to mind listening to you and Shivali and Kamran Khan. And I have a feeling that, that some ideas again came up. I came across a saying by Faith Popcorn, who said that, it is a sin to be inefficient in a world where there is so much need. So I think that really describes the scenario. Debating in Parliament while the house is on fire and it's burning, and self-indulgent debates, conversations which are going nowhere. So it is a sin to be inefficient in a world where there is so much need, is a thought which I wanted to share. She also said, Faith Popcorn, a futurist like Alvin Toffler, she said that civilization has reached a point where wilderness is safer. It is very, very true. When I look around, I'm more afraid of human beings than I am of animals. And when I see the pollution and the damage done by human beings on the planet, particularly when you go to a tourist resort and you see the piles of trash, what kind of a legacy are we leaving for the coming generations? Animals have never done that. We need to learn from animals on how to be ecologically friendly. It is despicable and I think this is all stemming from comfort, because it's so easy to trash things and not take the trouble of doing what's right, as Kamran Khan mentioned. And then the other thought which came to my mind was that the world has been classified from my childhood to now that I've been hearing, that there are three categories of countries: underdeveloped, developing, and developed. Now, the developed are condemned, and so are the underdeveloped condemned, because underdeveloped does not recognize that they can develop. So emerging is very key. I mean, every nation, every human being has the potential to grow, to learn, to contribute, to make a difference. And when you say that I have developed, it's like Kamran Khan saying, I've reached the zenith of my profession. I know everything I need to know, and there's no one who can teach me anything else. I am developed. That is the beginning of a decline. And I just cannot for the life of me understand how can educated people, where, you have, Carla, in the United States, for example, you have the Harvard, the Ivy Leagues. How can you even accept this notion that you're a developed nation? And the fact that you have accepted that is the very reason why you're going to suffer, because you don't want to learn anymore. Arrogance, it's the height of arrogance. And not just America, Europe, I mean, for example, the West. So underdeveloped is a highly arrogant view of the world. And developed is another expression of that. Developing, I like. And I think we're all developing. And we need to be on a developing trajectory. And it is only then that we are out of comfort. So these were some thoughts. And then another, and I'll conclude on this because I started with the word peace, inner peace. And now because we're talking on a more macro level as well, and conscience, I feel it was Kamran Khan's conscience that was speaking. It was Shivali's conscience that was speaking. I want to just say that I came across another saying, which again, a few years ago, that peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of justice. And what I find here is that we don't have so much of a conflict as we have injustice. There's so much of injustice out there. And what is injustice? I mean, not being equitable, looking at human beings as collateral damage. I mean, and geopolitical goals, resource allocations, budgets, handouts, and duality. I mean, spin doctoring, optics. What has happened is that integrity has just become a lip service. Principles have become a lip service. In international relations, morality has no place. In diplomacy, morality has no place. I mean, ethics is just spoken of in classrooms, and you go and get your degree and a PhD, but it is not practiced in geopolitics, because that's not what Machiavelli taught us 400, 500 years ago. He just talked about power and how to sustain your rule, regardless. And he said, when you bring in morality and ethics, sorry, you can't sustain your rule in the way that you would like, in the state of comfort. So there you go.
Thank you. Did you want to say something, Shivali?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I completely agree with this. The powers that we are dictating, coining terms, dictating it to the others around them, and the others are just blindly accepting. That's number one. And secondly, the spiritual disconnect. No one focuses on that. I'm not speaking of religion. I'm not a religious person at all. The spiritual disconnect, the consciousness is, it's the consciousness which is making us act like this. If we can awaken the real consciousness, the spiritual consciousness, things would be different. And third thing is the commercialization taking place. This apathy. Why is this apathy coming in? When we think of, I've eaten something and I can just throw it anywhere that I wish to. This apathy, not thinking about, and not even thinking about myself, that the harm it's going to cause to me. This apathy is coming from commercialization. Feed yourself, feed yourself, feed your mind with this, buy this, buy this. You look at the advertisements which are coming around. So this increased commercialization, and fourthly, the voice of peace doesn't want to speak up because it likes to be in the comfort zone. This voice has to rise. The vibrations must become stronger if we want to defeat what is happening around us. And this has to be done with a spiritual consciousness. And whatever material things we have, we can utilize it, in the service of humanity. So both things go hand in hand. But the focus is not on the spiritual part, it's only on the material part. And so the story goes on. Why World War I, II, III, IV, World Wars will keep on coming? Because the powers that be sustain themselves by means of war. So, do we still want to remain in this comfort zone? So, what is the legacy we are leaving behind? History repeats itself, and we as human beings have very short memory. So, that's it.
History. History teaches us that we don't learn from history.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's
Asma.
back to the present moment almost. Because if you're saying that we don't learn from history and we're staying in the present moment, how can we change the behaviors? I believe we can, Asma.
Yeah, it's a very, I think, intellectual conversation. I really liked it. These days, we have one problem, and that we are not discussing the important things. We are not discussing religion. We are not discussing politics. And I feel that we need to discuss that more, especially the young people. They need to discuss that more. We are not discussing about the climate. We are more into motivational talks and self-help kind of, because we are so much fed up with our own lives. We don't want to think about anything else. And that's also comfort. That's also comfort. When we talk about the animals, I love animals as we talk about that. Why we are now like keeping the pets? Because it's difficult to deal with the humans. It's easy to deal with the animals. It's easy to tackle them. It's easy to understand their understand them, but it's difficult. Because it's difficult, it takes time to resolve the conflict between the two humans, and it takes your brain. So now what are we doing? We don't want to involve ourselves in these kind of stuff. We just want to save ourselves. And just because of that, we are making distance. We are not involving ourselves in discussions. We are keeping ourselves away. It's kind from all these stuffs, and we involve other kind of. But I think it's necessary if we want the changes, if we want to develop the things. For that, it's really important to talk about the things. It's really important to have their own point of view. If I really feel that if you have your own point of view, honestly, you should be grateful, because there are a lot of people don't know, they don't have their own thoughts. So this is the problem with the youth, and we are not working with there. I work in the university, and I met with the university fellows. Even after graduation, my fellows don't have their own thoughts. They don't have their own point of view. They don't want to discuss this stuff. Why? Because they feel it's gonna mess up. But honestly, it's not gonna mess up. It's gonna resolve the things. It's gonna give different point of views. It's gonna, and this is what coming out of comfort zone. This is what leaving your comfort zone. When you discuss this stuff, when you take, when you when you have different point of views, and then you resolve this stuff. So yes, these days people have power. People have a lot of the things. We are. It's also a show of word. Where we are showing this stuff. Even people are dying, and we want to show that stuff on the social media. But honestly speaking, don't worry. There is destruction is happening. I feel that this destruction might be, but this destruction is necessary somehow, because we are just a stagnant. We are actually, in the past few years, we are just a stagnant rate. And it's very important. It's very important that we need to be shift the dynamics. And for that, there's some destruction is going to happen, but this is necessary. Otherwise, humans are not going to understand this stuff. And and as I'm a young, and I'm living with this social media, and I'm living this technological life, I know after some time you just fed up with that. There's only way. There's only way, and that's, you can call it nature, you can call it spirituality, you can call it religion, you can call it God. You need that. And I feel that there's only way to save yourself. There's only way that heal yourself. That's, you can call God, that's spirituality. That's realizing your inner self. That understanding your inner self, that's really important. And that's actually coming out of comfort zone. All the other things, skydiving, jumpy, whatever, eating lots of food and eating weird food, weird food. These are just
exotic food.
yeah, these are just I think these are just distracting things. There you just want to distract your thoughts, distract your mind from that stuff, and you're doing that kind of stuff. And but when you think, when you realize this stuff, there's only way, and which we discuss, there's only nature, there's only nature that heals you. And you can't distract yourself for a long time. After some time you have to come back.
And when you,
Excellent, Asma. Very nice. I
Yeah.
never knew you were so energetic. Shabash, mashallah. But I would like to add something to what Asma has said, and she was actually speaking from her heart. I think we all are speaking from our heart. But what Shivali was saying is of monumental importance. And now I'm coming back to my own zone, actually. Uh, you know, the vibrations, what is keeping those vibrations? There are a lot of vibrations. By the way, I'm going to tell you this. In this new age and all of the destruction, which is actually, which is about to happen and whatever, there are people across the globe who are actually raising their voices, irrespective of from what religion, caste, color, or creed they belong. In India, I find one such person, BK Shivani, and she is wonderful. And I will recommend that if somebody has not heard her, that woman, BK Shivani, alone is making such a change. And the irony is, the sad part is that when I forward some of her lectures in Pakistan to people, I actually stopped forwarding, because the first thing came out, she's a Hindu. You listen to a Hindu? And I said, okay, I'm sorry, I'll not forward. The problem is that we have labeled, and I referred to her not because Shivali is here, and you know, I referred to her because I genuinely think that lady, she is doing such a wonderful job, because she is re-explaining religion in today's terms to people who are actually ignorant, lesser educated, because they did not get that opportunity, and uh, and there are people around across the globe. I am sorry to say, I don't find people in Pakistan, at least of that, you know, because if you are like sort of, I don't know, you don't push people towards your religion, push people towards reality and truth. And whatever religion a person has, he or she will adopt it. And by the way, religion is the easiest way for spirituality. Let me say this, because when we say spiritual and we say cosmic consciousness, all of these terms actually land you in a comfort zone, because there is no check and balance. Nobody is there to check you. But when you talk of God, Ishwar, Christ, Muhammad, alayhi salatu wassalam, and when you talk of these people, now these people, they're religious figures, and they have given laws which when followed properly, take you out of your comfort zone. A Muslim wakes up like 5 in the morning just to offer prayers. So does a Hindu at 4 in the morning, and so does a Christian. Now, my point, I'm not trying to be religious over here, but what I'm trying to say is that it's time that we start looking at our religions not from the perspective of the clerics, not from the perspective of the teachings, which have actually used religion in commercial aspect to fulfill the stomachs and bellies of the few at the cost of the entire humanity. All religions have spoken the truth. All prophets have spoken the truth. Easiest way to spirituality and the easiest way to have these, because a normal person is not that intellectual that he'll understand, the cosmic consciousness and its relation to religion and frequencies. Like Nikola Tesla said, nobody's going to understand that. But when faith comes in, but when faith comes in, I am a person, I am ignorant, I have no education, but I believe in my God, I believe in Ishwar, I believe in Brahma, I believe in whatever I believe in. And when it comes from that entity, I'll just believe and I'll just start practicing, and thereby add to the vibration, which will grow exponentially because masses start practicing their respective religions. That is the essence of the religion. It, like Shivali, what you were mentioning, the vibrations will not come from intellectuals. They will not come from Sufis. They will not come from Pandits. They will not come from sadhus. They will not come from saints only. These people are also very important, but the vibration of 7 billion people across the globe, and this is one of the main issues. People have been systematically moved away from the religion, and people do not like to discuss religion on forums, and people are actually ashamed of calling themselves religious. Thereby, the general vibration of the population is on the decline, and it is fueled and pumped by all of that weird and exotic material, may it be food, may it be dresses, may it be your social media, what Asma was mentioning. All of this is bundled and the vibration is nearly diminished. And by the way, these vibrations are so much very important that if they do not, if we do not make an effort to live in them in the next 5 years, there is no reversal. There will be no reversal. Then this is coming from a spiritual angle now. There is no reversal because the negative vibrations, the vibrations of fear, the vibrations of despair have actually enveloped the globe. It is an ether of fear in which we are living now. And if that is not broken, and that can only be broken by mass practices, not only by intellectuals, because those are very few, but by general masses. And so in this context, it is better to make people return to their religion in a new light, which can make them glow and grow, come out of their comfort zone and add to the vibrations.
Well, if you want people to come out of the comfort zone, Kamran, is it religion or is it that which makes the religion, the spirituality?
Spirituality without religion does not take you out of your comfort zone. It actually adds to the mental level that, oh, I am meditating, I'm doing something. This is, I've seen this for the last 30 years. I've seen
I
many
agree
people.
with you.
So the point is that religion is the easiest way to go towards spirituality. Why not get the nose like, why to have grab the nose like this? It is very difficult. The point is, I'm not advocating religion over here, but the point is that seems to be the only way. I think Shivali needs to speak now.
No, I didn't.
What's Kamran again?
Yeah, load shedding.
Oh, load shedding. That's what I thought. Shivali?
Kamran ji, I just want to say something. I have listened to you, and with due respect, the moment you tell individuals, return to your religion, if they don't truly follow the principles of their religion, I respect all religion. I have a very different view on these things. If the person does not follow their true religion, the point is, who is going to teach them? You need good teachers. We call them acharyas. You need good teachers to give the guidance. But the point is, the problem is where the fight begins, that whose religion is better than who. That's the whole problem.
I'm sorry. Why did I mention BK Shivani? Have you heard her?
Yes, we know her. She's from
Yeah.
the Brahma Kumaris.
Yeah,
I've
Brahma
seen her
Kumar.
from a much. I know about her.
So what is she doing? She's not propagating any religion. but she is pointing out what is absent from our lives. The problem is that across the globe, we need people like this. And since there are very few mentors of this caliber, religion is the easiest way to start the journey, at least, because faith gives you a lot of power to start things which you would not normally dare to start. You are very right. I'm getting to your point that, and I mentioned it, that religion has long been used for commercial benefits by these, mullahs and pundits and all of these entities, and at the state level for so long. And given an opportunity, it will be used again at the state level. Many are aspiring for that. So my point is, let people start from something, because spirituality is something so broad in its dimension, and it requires so much of background of studies and knowledge and everything. A normal person will not dare to go. It is beyond the third or fourth level even of its comfort zone. But religion is something which one automatically adapts to. And then people like us, it is our responsibility now, people like us in their circles, in these talks, we should start. And I've been given that opportunity in my country. I do TV shows and everything. Nobody listens to me, that's another story. But what yeah, because there are very few people say, oh, he's wasting our time. I know, but the few who have listened, and the few who have, and by listening, I don't mean please follow me. I'm not a person to be followed. But if you listen to good thoughts, I'm sure if the youth around Asma listens to her, there will be at least a process of thinking initiated, because she initiated that process in me. I'm not talking about Kamran Bhai. I'm not talking about you. She's the youngest, and she, mashallah, she talked brilliantly. She has, it's not the talk, it's not the words that matter. The words, when come out from your heart, they matter, and they create that vibration. So anyway, please, I'm sorry. I
love
mean,
what
I
you
don't
are
want to
saying.
take that time.
I love what you are saying because you're bringing out the truth. The only reason I questioned your thing about religion and spirituality is religion, in my mind, tends to be the banana peel. It's the basic idea, and we'll say we're Jewish, we're Muslim, or whatever. It doesn't matter. But the basis of religion goes into spirituality. And spirituality is the actual banana. And what I am seeing is that people aren't going to the banana, they're looking at the skin. And when you open up that banana and you're cooking that banana or you're eating that banana, you are going within yourself and you are becoming more of yourself. Whereas religion, people are fighting over religions. I don't like Muslims. I don't like Jews. I don't like Arabs.
This is
Well,
because the definition of religion and the image of the religion has been tarnished to an extent that it has been made a product. Anyway, I think Asma was trying to say something.
Thank you.
Thank
Asma,
you.
talk.
Yeah, I just only wanted to add one thing, and that's that there's nothing wrong with the religion. The only problem happened where instead of following and understanding the religion at first, we start teaching, we start preaching. So that's the issue. That's why people are offended, and that's why people don't want to listen about the religion, because everyone here start preaching, start teaching the religion. But we at first need to understand and follow at first. there the other thing happens. And I think that's the only problem throughout the world. And I just wanted to end my conversation with a joke. In the last days, I was in a peace conference, and I just thought for a second, like, if in the world peace has attained, what would happen? So I just thought, the thought come in my mind, then the politician and social activist, what they would do, they would be jobless. So somehow this is also, we also need these conflicts to make discussions and to have activists and to keep the politicians alive. That's just a point.
You're so compassionate.
So conflicts have been there since the beginning of time, since ancient
Oh, yeah.
times.
Oh, yes.
And we
They've
need
been
to keep in mind that people like Asma, the youth, are our future. And Asma has a lot to offer. We can't always think that the people who are older, like myself and Kamran and the Kamrans,
Which Kamran
know
are you referring to?
everything.
Oh,
Because
oh,
we don't. We're all growing. We're all moving towards
Yeah.
something greater than we are. And I promised Kamran Khan that this would be only an hour, and if I let it go any longer, he's going to kill me. No, I don't
no,
think you'll kill me, but I'm afraid
no
of what
violence.
will happen with you at work. So I want to thank everyone for coming today. It will be posted on both Facebook and YouTube once I get the recording. But this has been a wonderful conversation because it went much broader than I had ever dreamt. Does anyone want to say any final words before I actually end the show?
Yes, 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 yes.
And Rizvi.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I'm very grateful that the conversation took the turn it did and covered a very broad spectrum of possibilities and points for reflection. Humility is a word which I find is at the heart of stepping out of comfort zone. Humility. It's when we start seeing people around us as people and not less than us. That is a huge stretch of imagination. But when we start truly respecting people as being different, that's it. Difference is all there is, but it is in that difference that beauty resides. The biggest stepping out of the comfort zone is being imbued by humility and having regard, not just for humanity, of all kinds of human beings are worthy of respect, and also nature. And I think it is the absence of this very important quality which connects us. It's a crucible in which everything resides. So humility is where peace will come. Humility is where connection will happen, engagement will happen. And once we start feeling for each other and step out of apathy, as Shivali was saying, and truly feel the pain of the other, can big changes happen. But these are not soft terms, these are the hard ones. And as Asma very rightly said, going within is not an easy journey. It is a big one.
But is it not an easy journey because we are so stuck in the world?
Yeah.
Or is it not, or would it be easier if we began teaching even our children to stop before acting and get to know where you are in the world and what you want to do? Kamran.
Yes, I
We
agree.
have to act.
Sorry,
Sorry.
Kamran Khan.
Two Kamrans. I think we'll have to start searching in the Google within. The Google outside is not going to answer this search. It is something, there is a macrocosm inside us in this miniature system. So start searching within. And the only way which we can start doing this is by humility, empathy, and perhaps uh, getting out of our comfort zone and letting ourselves know that there is a lot of agony and pain, which if I am not feeling, I'm fortunate enough to be not a part of it, doesn't mean that it does not exist. So I'll have to open my eyes, I'll have to open my soul to it. Otherwise, I fear that the entire thing is clearly now becoming irreversible. And honestly, one has to be hopeful. But in order to be hopeful, you do not need to be dangerously oblivious as we are today. I attend many intellectual things of the sort, and I see people uh, giving lectures on hope and everything without even having a clue what
Yeah.
this term means and how to do it. So uh, act fast. It's time it will become irreversible.
I agree with you, Kamran. And the one thing that I would like to ask, and maybe we need to do another show on this, is that the Google within, we've been told so many times in our lives, don't listen to this person, listen to that person. How many motivational speakers are there in the world, and how many are really motivational? I question it. But we also often question what we hear inside, and we think, oh, that may not be true. I'm not going to go with it. Is it better to go with what we hear inside and move forward, or to listen to our parents, what they said, our sisters, our brothers, our friends? We only know what's right for us. What do you think, Kamran Khan?
Yeah, that's another topic. How to hear the inner voice. That's how to listen to yourself. How to know what
Right.
is right and what is wrong coming, because there are two persons inside yourself also. So, but that's a huge another, maybe another many
Would you
topics
would
coming
you
out of it.
come if I do that topic?
I cannot actually promise to come because this time is my job time, and today actually now I've taken leave because so I can't promise that. But if you can record it like we are doing it now, then it can be a daytime in Pakistan where I can come. This time might not be possible in the weekdays.
It's
So
always
anyway,
recorded. Oh, if I recorded ahead of time. Okay, no,
anyway,
I'll do
let's keep
that.
this that's a private conversation, but
Right.
because you're recording this show, let's not our audience be bored by when can I come or not. So
Okay.
let's have our final words from Shivali and Asma, and I think
Yeah. Final
that will be it.
words quickly, but I got very excited about the Google inside. Okay, Kamran,
I'm done. Humility.
Shivali, just a few words.
I think what Kamran Khanji was saying a little while ago, returning to our roots, compassion, love, whatever we are talking about, the basic value. We seem to losing the sense of values. So we need to really work on that. And yes, through religion, those values are being, filtered through, but it's upon us how much we are able to access it. Because there are people who will stand as obstacles in the name of being instructors and teachers. And secondly, I feel that action, a mere philosophy is just speculation. Sitting in a drawing room and over a cup of coffee speculating.
Hmm.
So philosophy becomes mere speculation if action is not taken. So if we want a better place, a better world, then action is the key. Thank you.
Thank you, Asma.
I was done, but I just want to say keep smiling. I think that's enough. Yes, keep smiling.
And true, and that is the resolution in my mind. Because when you smile, all those cells in your body begin smiling and you feel better about yourself. So smile and some laughter are always very important. And with that, let's wave goodbye. And I will see you again very, very soon. And with that,
Okay, thank you very much. It was a wonderful conversation.